Luring them in and knocking them down, Jaf Jefferson builds an industrial-sized feeder so he can make a dent in the squirrel population.
It holds about 12 to 15 kilograms of nuts.
There was copper, there was bismuth, there was tungsten, now there's Hortonium. Its inventor, Steve Horton, presents a new lead alternative.
Hortonium.
I'm sorry about the name, I couldn't think of it.
Powerful optics you can take up a hill. Robbie Shedden presents Swarovski's latest lightweight scope. We're raffling a shotgun. Ollie Williams goes cowboy for farming Britain. David ploughs through the news from the new stump. And James harvests the latest crop of YouTube hunting films in this week's Hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. That's right, Scrat. Run to the target area. If you want to get serious about squirrels, start with a pile of wood and a highly qualified Jaf. You see, Jaf Jefferson is not just star of the South Somerset Ferreters, not just David's favourite pigeon hide companion. Jaf's a joiner, and squirrel shooting, proper squirrel shooting, needs construction skills. Let's start with the masterpiece, the feeder.
So basically all it is some 150mm soil pipe with some fittings on the top, which you can load the nuts in the top. Bit of metal tube on the bottom. What we're doing, we're using a 2.2 rather than an air rifle. We've got a lovely backstop behind us anyway. It holds about, I'm going to say about 12 to 15 kilograms of nuts. So they should last a good week or two before Charlie has to come and fill it back up again. Now we're not going to come and shoot any squirrels for about another 3 weeks. So we're going to let them get used to it. And we're going to set our hide up probably 25-30 yards back up that way.
Pruning the local holly to add camo to our hide, and then we go away for a fortnight. While we're away, all kinds of wildlife drops by, including this little buck. We also get lots of interest in Jaf's nuts, and I'm sure that takes him back. The three main candidates are squirrels, of course, rooks, and a cock pheasant. Sometimes the squirrels bully the pheasant. Sometimes they have a go at the rooks. And sometimes the pheasant gets his own back at the squirrels. Sorry to break up the party, because it's time to shoot the squirrels.
I think the feeder's been set up for 2 weeks today. Me and Charlie come and set it up. So they finally found the nuts. It took about a week for them to find the feeder.
They're not bright, these squirrels, are they?
No, they're not. So hopefully today they'll maybe come back another couple of days and get a few more, you know.
And then the hide, proof of concept. The pheasant couldn't see us, could he?
No, it's a stealth hide. We're in stealth mode, you know.
We are.
Yeah, I mean, we come in, it's all nice and quiet. You can hear woodpeckers. We've seen robins visit the table. Blue tits. I think it's quite important to thin these squirrels out because breeding season's coming. And they're going to start raiding songbirds' nests, eating the eggs and the chicks. And we all know there's just too many grey squirrels around, so we've got to do our best just to thin them out, you know.
Customer number one is soon upon us. After that, it becomes a regular jaunt. Jaf by himself, Jaf with his daughter, Jaf and me. Long mornings in the hide, and he chips away at the local squirrel population.
This is my third trip out. The first trip we had 4. The second we shot 8. The first 5 in 35 minutes. We shot one this morning. A little bit quieter this morning. What I have noticed is not a lot of songbirds either visiting the table this morning. Whether that's got something to do with the weather, I don't know. But last time there was just squirrels everywhere. Whether that's the fact that we've shot 13 in, well, we've been doing this for about 3 weeks now. The nuts ran out in the feeders, and what we noticed, I think we kind of annoyed them because there's no nuts to eat. They started to attack the table.
They went on strike. Oh, see, are they actually started?
Yeah, they
like angry farmers.
yeah, they chewed through one of the straps. They started chewing the lid of the feeder. The wood around the feeder was all chewed, so I think we basically drove them nuts because there was no nuts. But
and then the weather wasn't kind to this hide, was
no, I had to rebuild it. I came here to fill the feeder up, and the hide was flat basically. But I've rebuilt it. But,
what was the design issue with the hide?
just the roof was too slack, water puddles, and the weight of the water just collapsed the whole thing, you know. And we had a lot of rain. Whether that's put the squirrels off this week as well, don't know. I've certainly noticed a big difference with this morning than I did the last time I came out, you know. Which again is a good thing, because have we cleared this wood of squirrels? Maybe. I hope so.
Could be.
I hope so, you know. But yeah, but any good squirrel is a dead squirrel in my eyes.
Any dead squirrel is a good squirrel. Any good squirrel is a dead
Any
squirrel.
good squirrel, this is an outtake, isn't it? Any good squirrel is a dead squirrel.
The only good squirrel is a dead squirrel.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, we got there in the end.
Jaf's setup is effective and, above all, cheap.
Well, basically I got my old, really old, CZ American 22. I've had it for probably getting on 20 years. Put thousands and thousands of rounds through it, and it's still doing its job, you know. I got the ATN 4K Pro scope, day and night vision. Great for the price of it. I've got one on this rifle, one on me 243, and I've just bought another one, a second-hand one, to put on my air rifle for shooting rats at my allotment. So I know there's better scopes out on the market. For what I do, this was absolutely perfect.
So effective is the hide and the feeder that it is hardly worth tray poking. But we give it a go anyway. Jaf enlists the help of Murray as chief pole carrier. We find lots of empty nests and just one that produces.
He's just going to get up there, fall down the bank, and yeah, just give it a little poke, a little shake.
You sound very confident.
Yeah, you got to be confident, Charlie.
A bit whippy, aren't they? That's the only trouble with them.
Yeah.
I know what it's like when I've got to put my loft pigeon up in there.
Hang on, Muzz, wait a sec. Let me come around the corner on this one.
Okay, go.
Oh. Two come out of there. I'll rush that.
The squirrels are on point, the shooter not so much. Here's the action replay.
In your opinion, Murray, should we consider getting a new shooter?
Maybe. Possibly. We'll see how this one goes.
Well, you've seen how it goes, it ain't that good. The chances are we've nailed it pretty hard, I reckon, which is good. Yeah, so the chances of finding many more, maybe slim, don't know. It's just a nice time to get out with your dog, Charlie, and have a little walk around, really. What is good, though, it's good to know that we've done quite a good job on this wood, really. Because you and me both, and we all know that we haven't had red squirrels around this area yeah, so I mean, we can all only just come out and do our little bit to thin these greys out.
If there are still squirrels out there, there's still a good reason to head for the hide, and that is Jaf's new hobby.
I've never really done this sort of squirrel shooting before. I've been out having a mooch around. I've shot loads of squirrels in the past, but never actually built a hide, built a table. I only did it because I was watching a few YouTube videos. One Robin Foxer, very good channel, Team Foxer. Now me and you came out over Christmas, just have a mooch around to shoot a couple of pheasants, and we saw some squirrels and come up with the idea of building this feeder, put a hide up to make a film, and it's worked really well, really pleased.
The South Somerset Ferreters channel on YouTube has Jaf's own squirrel shooting film. There's a link to it in the description below.
Thanks, Jaf. Now, in this week's Fieldsports Extra, we have a range evening at a gun shop, a clever way someone else can tell you which animal to shoot, and the master of the worshipful company of gunmakers.
We make the best sporting firearms in the world.
We are giving away that gadget that you saw, the Lost Scout, and to find out what a brilliant yet simple idea it is, there's a link to it below. Easiest way to win it is to watch Fieldsports Extra, which goes out the night before this show only to Fieldsports members. Easiest way to watch Fieldsports Extra is to join those members, the Fieldsports Nation. We'll send you a goodie box and you get free access to our new advice line to help you with gun certificate issues. Link to that below too. Next up, more sideways glances. It's David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. It's been 5 years since a raft of shooting organisations announced that they wanted British game shooters to phase out lead shot. Over 5 years. The partner organisations of the game shooting umbrella group Aim to Sustain have released a new statement encouraging all shoots and shooters to make the transition away from lead shot. Basque, the NGO, the Countryside Alliance and others say that manufacturers, shoots and guns have embraced the transition to lead alternatives since they first announced it. They say that effective, affordable and sustainable shotgun ammunition has been developed and the choice for all has been broadened. There is more on the search for a workable alternative for lead shot later in the show. The Worshipful Company of Gunmakers has issued new certificates honouring the work of the UK's top gunmakers. In the first ceremony of its kind held at the London Proof House, the Master and Officers of the Gunmakers, which received its Royal Charter in 1637, handed out certificates to the cream of British gunmaking. In one room it brought together around 800 years of gunmaking experience. Special awards went to Paul Roberts of J. Roberts and Son Gunmakers, formerly of Rigby, and to Russell Wilkin from Holland and Holland.
So they have to serve over 20 years in the trade and be recognised by other gunmakers of their level of gunmaking.
A man has been arrested after dozens of animals were left outside a community shop. As reported in Fieldsports News, the carcasses of about 50 dead hares, a barn owl and a kestrel were dumped outside Broughton Community Shop in Hampshire in March. A 37-year-old man from Totton has been arrested on suspicion of 7 offences. They include various animal welfare and poaching offences, as well as a firearms-related offence. The National Police Chief's Council lead on trail hunting says he would like the government to close loopholes in the law. Chief Superintendent Matt Longman says that the hunting community continue killing foxes. He claims that historically the police have not been impartial when called to a hunt. And blurring the lines between fox hunting, he adds that if you go out and deliberately kill a fox, you are a criminal regardless of whether you're caught or not. A Hampshire gun shop that's been open for over 100 years is about to close with the retirement of its owner. Lambert's of Ringwood is set to close its doors at the end of April. Opened as R. Ballanton Gunsmiths in 1916, it's been in the hands of 78-year-old current owner Malcolm Lambert since the 1990s. The shop will have its last day of trade on Tuesday the 30th of April 2024, and a closing down sale is currently taking place. The RSPB is free to continue its attacks on gamekeepers under Scotland's new hate crime law. From the 1st of April 2025, the Hate Crime and Public Order Scotland Act protects people from social media posts criticising their gender, sex lives, race or religion, but it provides no protection from animal rights extremists. Attacks on gamekeepers and hunts by conservation industry bodies such as the RSPB can continue as before.
To be denied the same legal protections against the hate crimes of abuse, intimidation, threats of violence, harassment, criminal damage by balaclava-wearing criminals because of our beliefs is hypocritical, unjust and discriminatory. Not on my watch.
A Hollywood actor has made a documentary about driven wild boar shooting. In a TV series made for CNN that's currently only available in Australia, Academy Award nominee Stanley Tucci travels across Italy to discover the secrets and delights of the country's regional cuisines. As part of it, the Devil Wears Prada actor goes on a boar shoot in Umbria. Afterwards, he said that witnessing shooting firsthand really brings home the reality of our carnivorous ways. Botswana's president has threatened to send 20,000 elephants to Germany. Germany's Environment Ministry raised the possibility of stricter limits on the import of hunting trophies over poaching concerns. But a ban on the import of hunting trophies would only impoverish Botswanans, Mogwitsi Masisi told German daily Bild. Meanwhile, in a move condemned by Safari Club International, the US Fish and Wildlife Service has tightened elephant trophy import rules. SCI points out that the new regulations will neither stop poaching or human-wildlife conflict, nor protect biodiversity. And finally, the gun trade came out with a load of April Fool jokes on Monday. Among them, Angus Glen's Moreland Group promoted a new venison-flavoured breakfast cereal called Deerios. Meanwhile, online raffle company Tweedle offered 100 tickets at 99p each to go shooting with David Beckham. In the USA, Franklin Armory put out a video about a firing system that allows you to fire 3 cartridges and automatically saves the spent shell from the 3rd cartridge, so only 2 eject. And Outdoor Life magazine showcased a new technology that allows binoculars to blur out private land, a system it called Private Land Observation Platform, or PLOP. You are now to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. And David asks for 3 things this week. Please like and subscribe under this film, and please enter our new raffle for an Italian shotgun priced at £1,200. Here is David presenting the Fair Premier 12 gauge shotgun, FAR standing for Fabbrica Armi Isidoro Rizzini. Even after all these years filming the best shots in the world, David is just as uncomfortable with the shotgun as when we started. With 500 tickets on offer at £5 each, you will be able to stop David pretending to understand firearms and, better still, support what he does best, delivering the latest news on the news stump. To be in with a chance of winning this very gun while supporting our journalism and our coverage of grassroots field sports, go to bit.ly/fairraffle, link below. David has also been busy producing the latest Farming Britain show. It features familiar faces doing their day jobs. Ollie Williams is dealing with the messy issues of dog poo killing his cows, plus he crashes machinery into his buildings.
That didn't sound good.
And Neil Roundtree's bull crashes into him.
No, bugger me! Gregor, man!
We find out how beavers inspired farmer protests in the Cairngorms, and before rewilding, there were people. Here's footage of the last hand clipping of 800 sheep on the Kinrara estate. Now it's trees owned by Brewdog.
It's almost like the people are an obstacle to the bigger rewilding type objectives that they have.
Link to the show in the description below. Back to shooting, and let's look at innovation, a magical new metal that its inventor says is better than lead.
We Brits have a tradition of producing inventors who have changed the course of history, from the spinning jenny to the bouncing bomb. The gun trade has had its fair share, with innovations such as Forsyth's percussion ignition and Frederick Beasley's Purdy action, helping to shape the guns used around the world today. Prepare for something new. We're at Tim Pilbeam's range in Sussex with an inventor whose name might just go down in shooting history as the man who solved the problem of non-lead ammo. Birmingham gunmaker Steve Horton has come up with an alloy made to a secret recipe which he says is the best alternative to lead. He has brought along some rifle and shotgun ammo loaded with his new invention.
Steve, welcome.
Hi, Tim.
Over the years, we've been testing quite a few non-toxic ammunition, you know, and but now you've come up with this one.
Yes, Hortonium.
Hortonium.
I'm sorry about the name, I couldn't think of one. So
what's your name?
Horton.
So Steve, right, so it's Hortonium.
Yeah.
And that's in the bullet, and you've got...
It's a shotgun
shot
okay. As well.
Okay. Right, talk me through what actually is Hortonium.
Okay, so there's a colleague of mine who's a metallurgist, spent 50 years in the mining industry, so what he doesn't know about metallic substances, it's not worth knowing. Me and him had a bit of a conflab, and we're trying to replicate lead.
Right.
And what I mean by that is the hardness of lead in both the shot and various what is used as a core substance in bullet.
Yes.
In terms of its hardness, its malleability, and try and get some weight into it as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we've achieved pretty much identical hardness, identical malleability,
right.
10% lighter.
Okay.
So it's all good to go on every front, really.
So is your material probably the closest?
It's as lead-like as you're going to get.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
You know, when you look at lead shotgun cartridges, everyone's going, what choke can I use with this, what this, that, the other, and the problem with wads that are occurring and things like that. With this stuff, it's just a fibre wad. Shotguns were made, for example, for paper cartridge, fibre wad, lead shot. simple. There's no change. You can shoot this through full choke. So everything you can do with lead, you can do with Hortonium.
So, if you've got a fully choked or an old shotgun,
yeah,
you can still use yours.
You could still, everything you could do with a lead cartridge, you can do with that.
Right, and this is top secret Squirrel stuff. Yeah. Nobody knows what's in this.
Not at the moment.
No.
The patent is pending for the UK. And we're filing for every other territory.
That is so exciting.
It is good fun.
Yeah.
Headache at the same time.
I bet it is. That's right. Yeah. So, Steve, we got a non-toxic cartridge here for a shotgun.
Yeah.
And we've got bullets. So what we need to do now is put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
yes,
why not?
Right. So let's go down there. Let's shoot some clays. I think we do some pattern testing and everything else. We go down there and just have a play and see how they perform, shall we?
Yeah. Let's do that.
No problem at all.
Brilliant.
Good. So you're standing about 30 metres away from a steel plate, which is about 1 metre wide. In this case, I hope you hit it, yeah?
Yeah. That's it. I hope I can aim it right.
All right, no worries. OK, I think we'll leave you alone and do your bit.
OK.
There we go. Pattern test. Tell me, that's a lot of pellets there.
There is a lot of pellets. These are 33 gram loads.
Okay.
So, and there's around about 380 pellets.
All right.
So it's putting a lot of pellets up
That's
there.
That's pretty a lot of pellets, isn't it? At 30 metres.
Yeah. 30 metres,
so,
and that's a kill.
You're a shotgun man. That's pretty good, isn't it?
That's a kill.
Yeah.
Definitely a kill.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Good, excellent. Cool. That's more like it.
Scrap this, Joe.
You have a go.
Steve, so we've had a bit of fun on the clays.
Yeah.
Probably haven't actually proven anything in particular, but we just
It will break a clay if you hit it in the right place.
Yes, if you hit it in the right place.
Yeah.
Slight problem today, wasn't it?
Slight problem.
None of us were actually particularly good at shooting them anyway, even though it's straightforward down the line. Talk about live game, you know, pheasants, pigeons. Have you had much experience shooting them?
Yeah, 25, 30 pigeons.
Oh, really? Okay.
Clean kills, what you'd expect with lead, to be honest. So, yeah.
And range-wise, you know?
Range-wise, 30, your standard game shot, your 35, 40 metres sort of maximum.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing this out in production, on production lines over the next couple of years.
Yes.
And you'll be a millionaire, won't you?
Yeah, this time next year.
Yes, Roddy. Well done, brilliant.
For more about Horton & Sons gunmakers and the lead alternative, Hortonium, go to hortonguns.com.
Well done, Steve. Staying on kit, stalkers no longer need a tripod. Swarovski has brought out mobile, high magnification kit that is easy to carry. Here is Robbie Shedden from Scottish gun shop Cluny Country to tell us about it.
So traditionally, you'd have a setup like you can see here, very static, which you need for extremely high magnification. So 25 to 50 times, that's really, really high magnification. So you need a stable platform. You have different eyepieces, or more recently with, for instance, Swarovski's ATX models, when you can interchange the eyepiece and the lenses, even have a double eyepiece. But these really need to be stationary for extreme detail, extreme distances. But there are new products. So you can have high mag on the move, in the field, quickly and easily, and here they are. Option 1 out in the field is new product from Swarovski. They're STC, they have an ATC as well, an angular scope, but the STC is a beautiful little compact scope, so it's 17 times to 40 times by 56 mil, super light, it's under a kilogram, this thing. It's also on the STC, which is brilliant for out here, long range spotting, has a little plastic bit under the scope itself, and it's just for exactly that. It's leaning on the tree, leaning on a bonnet, leaning on your sticks, leaning on your hunting rucksack, anything that gives you that stability. It's just as quickly as that, I can get 17 times up to 40 times magnification for when detail matters. Our third and final option for long range, obviously different to a telescope, is binoculars. These are Swarovski's 12 by 42 NL Pures. A very, very nice shape on them, extremely wide field of view. Normally, previous to the shop, Dad and I would not have ever recommended 10 by 50, 12 by 50s, these big binoculars. But with the NL Pures, it's totally different. They are, they have the widest field of view they've ever had. I think it's 113 meters at 1,000 meters for these 12s, which is similar to some 10 times. They are extremely lightweight, and you're getting that distance for out in the field where you can just have a regular set of binoculars for very comfortable and I have to say, pretty stable viewing at distance. They also, you can see at the end here, so we've got the 1242, they have the holes that you can remove for the forehead rest, which simply clicks in as easily as that, which now gives me, especially on these 12s, an extra bit of stability. Obviously you'll just see it pushing against my forehead there, and that is adjustable as well. I can roller this forward or back for how much I want it to push on my forehead, which just makes this image that much more stable.
Thanks, Robbie. Now from optics to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, brought to you by James Marchington. It's Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the latest and best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. And here's what I've picked for you this week. First up, more sniping than stalking. Thane Young is after a New Zealand red stag in the rut. To avoid the risk of being mistaken for a deer and shot by another hunter, he spots and shoots his beast from over 600 metres. This is more what we in the UK would call proper stalking. Souls Untapped is out on a windy day in the Scottish Highlands, after elusive seeker which are so well hidden they aren't even showing up in the thermal. Next to Turkey, where this group are hunting wild boar, driving them with dogs and successfully shooting with what appears to be a semi-auto shotgun. Here's one from Belarus, where they're using a tethered call duck as a decoy to draw in the wild birds. To help understand what's going on, turn on the captions for an English translation. Back to the UK, and Robin Foxer is out decoying pigeons with the odds against him. The wind's in his face, the sun's awkward, and then a military Apache helicopter turns up for a bit of target practice. Andy Crowe and his cousin Gary travel to Morocco with Jack Pike for 2 days of phenomenal driven partridge shooting in wonderful scenery. British Columbia, and this beautifully made film follows Justin from Fargon through a full year of subsistence hunting, fishing and foraging. If you're quick, you might still be able to enter his competition in the description. Finally this week, Ryan from Hunt Primitive explains how to get the best power and accuracy with an atlatl. That's a type of spear launched with a throwing arm. Well, that's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, jamesm@fieldsportschannel.tv.
And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain. It's out at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.